academic language can be a bit overwhelming, but that's why the tutoring center is great, right? Like, we break it down simply for you guys, and then we collaborate on it.
Hey Huskies and friends! We've been taking a few trips this season, haven't we? Well, this week is no different. We're always talking about all the great tools and support available at GBC, and I've been having such a good time trying them out and also taking you along the journey to show you how easy, accessible, and readily available these services are. So, today we're going to get a little TLC. No, not that kind of TLC. We did a self-care episode already, remember? Right. We're talking GBC Tutoring and Learning Centre. Oh, you didn't know GBC had tutoring. I know you didn't think you had to do all these assignments on your own. Help is always available. So I booked my appointment and I'm about to get some help with this global politics assignment. That being said, let's get into it. So I came to the Tutoring and Learning Centre on the 4th floor of our St. James campus. It is in room 430A. So I'm gonna head in to our Tutoring and Learning Centre to see if I can get some help. So come with me. So I'm Khdrea and I do have an appointment with Nara at 2.
Yes, she's currently in an appointment. You can take a seat while you wait.
Thank you so much. So, as you enter the space, it's very open and accommodating, and it is just quiet, and there's students here working with their tutors. So, I'm so excited to get started. Hi, Naira.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Excellent. So, I'm here with this assignment today. This is for my global politics class, and honestly, it's a bit much. Like, just looking at it, it's just like, yeah, this is
a lot of words.
Yeah, this is asking me for a lot. And you know what? The word length doesn't bother me as much because I feel like I'll get papers where I should write less and I write more. But I think it's more the content of this one that is a little overwhelming for me. So can we do a little walkthrough?
Sure.
Help me figure out how to.
Let's go through the assignment once and see where we can break it down, and then we can go into the details.
Okay.
So it first talks about a description of an artifact. So we can first identify what an artifact is, right? So it's anything of historical importance. It could be a painting, it could be, pottery, it could be anything relevant. So you first have to choose one.
Okay.
It's okay if you haven't chosen one yet. Let's just read through everything and then figure it out. And then we talk about a thesis statement. So a thesis statement, I'm sure you're familiar with it, but it's basically, what is my essay going to be about? This is my topic and this is what I'm going to discuss. To put it simply.
Okay.
I know professor is overcomplicated, but it's basically just a sentence.
Yeah.
And then focus on specific issues, case studies, scenarios. So basically any other reference. What I'm saying has also been said by a lot of other people.
Oh, okay.
Just to reinforce that. And that's basically it. You just connect those information to your source material, whatever's in your textbook.
Okay. So typically, what should a thesis statement sound like? I've had assignments in the past where it's been thesis question.
Yes.
But I imagine the statement is different.
It's a little different. Essentially, you can take the thesis statement and turn it into a question.
Okay.
Like what, why, who, you add the basics.
Oh, okay,
Right.
okay, got it.
So if you think the opposite way, if you have a question, you have to turn it into a statement. So it would go something like, therefore, this essay will discuss. That's the format of a thesis statement.
Okay.
Or therefore, the purpose of this essay is to highlight. Essentially, that's how thesis statements start. They all have the same kind of tone, same way to write it.
Okay. Yeah, so note to the teachers. Don't put too many complicated words in there because, I mean, sometimes students get overwhelmed, especially if you're thinking about all your assignments and then you open one and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even do this. Before you even take the opportunity to read through it, you're just like, I'm overwhelmed.
Well, academic language can be a bit overwhelming, but that's why the tutoring center is great, right? Like, we break it down simply for you guys and then we collaborate on it. It's not a one-sided effort either way, so I think it's a good opportunity, and I'm glad you came for this kind of session.
Yes, I'm glad I came too. So what else do we need to zoom in on with this assignment?
Well, the first step would be to choose your artifact. It could, again, like I said, it could be a painting, it could be a pottery, whatever you like. And then just really understanding what is this artifact. A little bit of a description or reflection is what's required. And then you can go into like finding other materials related to it. So like the question mentioned, what is this thing called global justice? And how does it relate to the artifact?
Oh, okay. Because I started this assignment, but now that we're having this discussion, I'm realizing that I'm way off. I gotta read it in.
Well, that's the beauty of it, right? You can come when you start the assignment, you can come when you're halfway there. Even for a checkup point, you can come when you're done and we can review it together as well.
Yeah? I didn't know I could do that because you see, I'm thinking, and I'm sure probably a lot of other students think this too. You come in the first time, you look at the assignment, you give me some pointers, and I'm like, okay, I go out and I do what I gotta do. But it's good to know that I could take it back and you could look over it midway, and even at the finale before you hand it in, given that I get it done before it's due 11:59 or something.
Not at all. Tutoring is a process. So we always tell everyone, book as much as you can. You're allowed to book 1 hour per subject every day. And we're open every day.
Yeah.
So,
what are your hours?
Yeah. We're open online and in person. Online, it's 10 to 9.
Wow.
Well, 9 to 9, sorry. And then
9 to 9 p.m.?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we are burning the midnight oil. So it's really, really good to know that you're available at that time of the evening.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and we
excellent.
understand weekends, you don't want to wake up early. So we have evening hours. And then
weekends, Saturday and
Sunday. And then during the weekdays, we're open till 5 p.m.
Oh, like the physical location.
The physical location, yes.
Great.
Online is still open till 9
Till
p.m.
9?
Yes.
Okay. So, do students use the Tutoring Learning Centre a lot? Do you think it's something that a lot of students know about?
I think it's something our regular students know about, but new students, it's a bit difficult. A lot of the times, professors are not making sure everyone's aware of it. So, of course, I try to tell all my friends and have them tell their friends, but sometimes it's a bit intimidating to come into a session. So I think more people could use it, but we do have quite a few students right now.
Okay, and what do you think is intimidating about it that students would feel, not so willing to jump at the opportunity to visit the Tutoring and Learning Centre?
So like you previously said, a lot of students don't know at what point in the assignment they can come. So one thing I wanted to put out there was you can come at any point, and all tutors are basically willing to help you where you're at. We don't expect you to meet us where we're at, right? I think a lot of the times also for ESL students, like English Second Language, they're a bit nervous about speaking in a language that's not their first language. But again, we have ESL conversation circles. You can come in for anything, literally. So it's just getting rid of that first nervousness.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of repeat appointments. It's kind of getting yourself through the door that's a little bit intimidating, I think.
So you break the ice and then you're able to engage further. And do you, for students who use especially ESL services, do you deliver your services in any other language but English to help them to, overcome that first barrier that they might have?
Yeah, so a lot of our tutors actually know multiple languages. For example, I know English, Hindi, Gujarati, Korean. I know my
She
friend.
is versed, ladies and gentlemen.
I know my friend knows French, Russian. We have a lot of languages, you know. So if you're comfortable starting off in a different language and incorporating English, we're open to doing that as well.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. And I think that's really encouraging because George Brown has a lot of international students. We are a very diverse student population. So I think it really helps if students know that, hey, English might not be your first language, but that does not stop you from accessing the services that we have here. Because, I mean, like I always say on the podcast, we want students to do well, and we have all the resources and all the tools for them to do so. And even as a student myself, while I access these services, I'm always so impressed because I'm just like, yeah, you actually want us to do well, don't you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, sometimes a lot of my students just come and we play English games. We don't even do an essay. We're just like, let's play Scrabble, let's play Wordle, like, you know. Even if you just want to learn through games, this is a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes, so this wheel we have here, we use for ESL conversation. On it, we just have a bunch of questions to start conversations. So if we're struggling to start a conversation, someone can spin it and they can answer the question.
Oh, that's really, really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and give the wheel a spin. Oh, love that. And my question is, how many dogs are too many to have? I don't know. I've had a lot of dogs in the past, so I'd say have as many dogs as you feel happy with. And what's maybe one service that you offer that students don't usually know that you have?
Oh, a lot of students are surprised that we offer study skills. How to make a timetable, how to like organize myself so I'm ready for my exams.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're saying you could get my life together for real?
I can help you. We can attempt to, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I didn't even know that. So we're all learning together, guys. But I didn't know that. That's really helpful because I think one of the things that people struggle a lot, especially being a student, managing life, work, family, expectations, it's a timetable.
Exactly.
Proper time management it's a beast.
Yeah, we have workshops as well. So
yeah.
I think the student body's not very informed about that, but trying to inform everyone now a little bit.
And what's your favorite part about this job?
I actually had no intention of getting into tutoring, but now I've been here for like a year and 9 months. So I think my favorite part is just like building that bond with my tutees. I've had a lot of people coming from first semester till now. So yeah, it's like just making friends with people, you know, like college can be pretty isolating. So forming any kind of bond is always like encouraged, I feel. So this has been a really good experience to like make friends, you know. I think that's the most rewarding part.
Yeah, because not only do students get the opportunity to connect with you as a tutor, but they also get the opportunity to connect with other students. And I think especially, as you mentioned, like ESL students who, say for example, there's 2 students who speak Korean. They have an opportunity to build a relationship among them, possibly just by virtue of bonding over that language. So there's also that, you know, chance for students to build and bridge their own relationships as they go along.
Exactly.
So that's really good, and I'm very happy to know that the TLC, the Tender Love and Care Center, actually provides more than just tutoring. Like, it's really a space of community development, and as a community worker student, I think that's really, really important that students 100%. Have the opportunity to build on that. So thank you.
Of course.
Is there anything else that you want to share with the students before you go?
I want to share that we also do ESL conversation circles. It's like a good opportunity for ESL students to make friends and like converse in a group. You know, it's a little less intimidating than a one-on-one session if you're more comfortable with that. A lot of them become friends through that as well. So please join online or in person, you know. I conduct it as well, so little plug, but yeah.
A little plug, yeah, we love that, we love that. Thank you so much, Naira. I feel so much better about my assignment. I'm gonna go home and work on that. And I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to come today, experience the Tutoring and Learning Centre for myself, and also to have this conversation with you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you as well.
Thank you. I'm going to keep it all the way real with you guys. While I have been a pretty decent student all my life, I think if I had access to tutoring services earlier in my academic journey, I could have been further along in my studies. But hey, no time like the present, right? Right. I loved my experience at the Tutoring and Learning Centre. I mean, it really did feel like the other TLC. Education and academics can be challenging, and that's okay, but it doesn't mean you have to do it all on your own. As you guys heard, the staff was attentive, knowledgeable, and really helped with breaking down the assignments to ensure that I first understood what it was asking, then how to take it from there. So, if you need help with an assignment or just overall academics, there is no shame in setting your appointment and getting the help you need to take your GPA to the next level. Because failure is not an option, and there is always a choice of help at GBC. And GBC will always give you that choice. So I hope you guys check them out whenever you can. So until next week, Huskies, stay warm, stay safe, and walk